But the money issue, let's try to solve this money issue with how to buy and hold more faster. Maybe Gary can educate us on this. When you're talking about your house is paid off in 4 years, everyone's scratching their head saying, what about the 30-year mortgage or the 15-year mortgage? You're saying 4 years. How?
Well, you got to remember it's a much smaller amount. So typically we borrow 20 to 25,000 on a 4-year term from our lenders. The payment's going to be around, I think it's $548 a month at 12%. Somebody can do the math out there, but it's close to that. You're getting $700, $750 rent, so there's not a lot of cash flow. It's going to be cash flow neutral, maybe even a little bit negative the first 4 years. But the end result is you got a house paid off in 4 years, and you're not paying that much interest, even though it's 12%. I think it works out to, is it 550 would be what, 65, like 20. You're only going to pay like 7,000 interest because the term is so short. Because your first payment at 555, you're whacking like 350 of principal.
Because of the amortization.
Yeah, because of the amortization.
I know a lot of questions. When you were talking about your house that you sold for $100,000 and you paid $55,000 for it, you're talking about $20,000 houses. Is this because of certain neighborhoods? Is this because you're buying them in really distressed and need a lot of work?
Typically, we stay out of the really distressed neighborhoods. One thing good about Akron is we don't really have any truly blighted areas. There's some fringe neighborhoods that we don't buy in. Typically, we buy in the blue-collar sections of the old rubber. There were old rubber companies, and they were old rubber workers or blue-collar. Typically, the house needs a little bit of work, but it's still amazing what you can get for $25,000 if you look.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So for your strategy right now, you're flipping, getting the cash, and just taking all that money and putting it into there. Do you have any strategy as far as refinancing any of the assets that you already hold to buy more stuff? Or is your main strategy to only flip your way to equity?
So I do, for every wholesale deal I do, for every rehab I do, I buy a rental. And so I buy those rentals with either hard money or private money at the moment. And then once I get 10, I refinance them. And then another set of 10, and I refinance them and cash out and buy more rentals so that I get to the 200 like Gary and live, I'm going to say live like Gary.
Live like Gary.
Although I won't be managing my own properties.
Let's explain hard money to everybody. What is hard money?
So hard money is usually an institution or a fund that's lending on specifically real estate deals. Mostly they deal with rehab projects. Some of them also do rentals or transactional funding for wholesaling. They charge higher interest rates than normal, and they also charge points. But for the most part, they based their funding on the deal itself, and with probably 25% on the person and their credibility and rehabbing projects or handling those deals.
Go ahead.
I heard it described as hard to get, harder to pay back. They're very high interest rates, but it's a necessary evil, especially if you're going to do a flip or a short-term loan, 1 or 2 year. And there are some lenders, private lenders, that'll do hard money loans.
I like to describe them as the loan-to-own programs. They're not lending on you. They are lending you money in the hopes that you can't pull this together, and they get a great asset at a great price.
One of my investors said that once. We were talking at an equity trust event, and she goes, my biggest hope is I hope Gary defaults and I get all these really wonderful houses. Like, it's not going to happen.
Is there cheaper money out there than this 12% that's not giving you a stack of paperwork this thick to have to go to a bank and qualify?
Well, she was talking about hard money lenders versus private lenders. Private lender, if it's a friend or you make a business acquaintance and you go down the road, typically you can get that maybe for 8 to 10 range, but you're still going to be paying in that range, I think.
Yeah, but no points.
No
in
points,
most
yeah.
cases,
Right.
and the points are really what can kill a deal.
Absolutely.
The points kill the deal, and I'm always argumentative with people that are so rate conscious. I'm like, do you realize how much cheaper it is than a partner? I'm like, you're paying 15%. I'm saving you 35% right now.
That's right.
And then even rentals, people say, well, what interest rate am I going to get if I were to buy this on a land contract? Well, right now you're at 100% interest rate. So let's say I give you 95% interest. You're still 5% ahead of the game.
Yeah, I agree. People get wrapped up in those rates, but let's say that I did that previous deal that I bought for $55,000 with seller finance, and had I had a hard money lender and they charged me, I don't know, let's say ridiculous 15% interest, I still would have made money. Where maybe I didn't have that $55,000 at all, but I could leverage their financing and still make money, or I could be upset about their 15% and not make money.
Exactly.
It's a no-brainer. You're going to make money or you're not.